My aunt has got me hella tripping. I'm allowing her to rent space in my head without actually paying rent for it, which is something that I am going to absolutely put an end to tonight. You know, I've came to the conclusion that it definitely wouldn't bother me as much if she at one time didn't mean so much to me. You know, at one time she was somebody I would have liked to have been like. And it just hurts that she's been gone for so long, and she hasn't been a part of our process over the past few years since we finally put the dope down, since our psyche has just changed. We're not the same damn guy we were, and it's a shame she won't give that a chance. She won't let herself know that. She harbors this resentment from all of the past wrongdoings, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot. Now, there's also a lot that she hurled at me yesterday that isn't true. Calling me a fraud, saying I have no honor, saying I have no respect for the truth, when really you couldn't get farther from the source. Truth is the thing I value above all else. The only way the truth changes is if one is in delusion or something actually alters. Ultimately, we're just gonna have to let it be. I'm not gonna be able to change her. She is much older than me. She's set in her ways. She believes that she is right, and she can't be right if there's not somebody that's wrong. And unfortunately, that somebody's been us. Whether we feel we turned the corner, and you know, that's the thing, running this by people that we do still look up to. Ultimately, we know whether or not she's right. We know the truth, and we can say, look ourselves in the mirror and know that we are hurt, not because she hit a soft spot on us, but because she tried to. We're hurt because of the things that she said when we asked for an apology. We're hurt that she even had to behave like she did to begin with. And it's a trip. It's a trip. You would have told my 15-year-old self that this would be the case today, I'd be over 3 years away from my cure to what I perceived was the problem, life. Finding out that actually Cameron was the problem, and until Cameron got help, nothing would change if nothing changed. And we moved here back in the end of 2021, and since then she gave us one opportunity when she hired us to paint a deck, but she had us mix 3 different reds together to make a special red that she wanted her deck to be. And then she promptly fired us when she said that it wasn't the right shade and didn't settle right. And in over 10 years of painting houses, we've actually never been fired. There's one lady that tried to stiff us without paying, and even she did conclude to pay us. So we were, it is what it is. Working for family, something totally different, not really to be recommended anyway. We thought maybe when Papa died, her dad, we would get his four-door, his car, because we found out that we were going to have a daughter. And unfortunately, the only whip I got is still this little two-seater that is not in any way legal to carry around an infant passenger or a toddler passenger. So, you know, she went and sold that. She mentioned like in January or February that she was considering letting us rent her house or stay in her house while we looked for a place we could afford, because she knew that we were looking for some sort of place and that my parents were helping us with that. And so, you know, the same week that we finally get this property we've been trying to get since our little sister became a homeowner years ago, and we finally get something to call ours, and it's like, boom, you know, she comes over to the house. I'm hanging with my dad, my mom's gone, and she just starts barking at us, you know. You could have unlocked the doors. Like, you didn't ask me to unlock the door, first of all. Second of all, I didn't even know the door was locked. And third of all, you didn't respond when I just answered that question after I said aloha, which you also didn't respond to except for asking a question. And so it's like, you know what? When I even point out this in a video that I was able to take after I finally realized I needed to take a video to protect myself from what was definitely perceived as an attack, and looking back on it, definitely was, like, at least verbal abuse, and we don't have to choose to be around that today. So, you know, make up your own mind whether we are in the wrong and being justly held accountable for the errors of our ways, or whether she has refused to actually take into account the time that she hasn't known me at all since she's been living here, and I was literally 2,500 miles away, having a son, battling drugs, getting clean, getting my son taken away, having a psychological breakdown while in sobriety, getting 2 years clean, and then ultimately diagnosed with schizophrenia, and then finally moved here. It's like, you know, when they refuse to admit that it's blue, and they agree that we're talking about the sky, that's when we reserve the right to be like, you know what, peace. You can call us the sponge all you want, but if we're a sponge, you're a solvent we don't want to soak up, all right? And our kids have an Auntie Karen. Yeah, okay. Aloha.